everybody. Wait, I'm like, you know what? This is early for me. Yes, it is. It's early on a Friday, but in New Jersey, we are dealing with the snow is coming. So I was like, you know what? Let me get this live in before the snow really hits. And just in case want to mess with my internet, I said I'm going to get the trending topics done early. So here we are. Okay, trending topics early on this Friday, December the 26th. I hope y'all had a good holiday. And listen, people, we got what, 5 more days left to 2025? It's bananas. It's crazy. But you know what? I had a good 2025. I hope y'all did also. But we're here tonight, Friday night, trending topics, and we got to get into it, okay? And the title's called Serious Matters. Serious Matters. These salon workers, the people that do your nails, and shout out to my nail girl, I love her, and she don't get crazy with the prices. It ain't one day is this amount, next day is that amount, next day is another amount for the same services. And if I'm ever going to have to pay something above what I normally pay, she tells me ahead of time, and she tells me why. She don't wait till the service is over and be like, now you owe $300, and you like, what? But we are hearing these stories now with the nail salon owners, the hair salon owners, where they are fighting the people at the end to pay the bill. But somebody better send these owners a memo. Regardless of what somebody owes you or you think they owe you or not owe you, you can't put your hands on them. Get the memo, people. Get the memo. Regardless of what you think they owe you or not owe you, you cannot lock the doors and lock them in, because that is considered kidnapping. Okay? So you can't do that. And you cannot put your hands on the people, because they may be wrong, but you're going to get arrested. So now this nail salon worker got arrested because she was doing her mother's nails. Now, why are you bringing your 8-year-old and your 1-year-old to the nail salon with you to get your nails done is a whole nother story for another day. But the woman had her kids with her. It was a dispute over the price of the nails. She told the woman you could get out, so the woman got up to go get out without paying, I guess. So now the nail salon lady, she gets up and she locks the doors. And she snatched back the 8-year-old from trying to walk out behind the mother. It's a whole hot stinking mess. But guess who got arrested? The nail salon worker. Now you got a whole kidnapping charge and all of that, where you could have just let that woman go and told her, don't ever come back in my salon again unless you prepared to pay. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even want no customer back like that. But now the nail salon worker got arrested. We're going to talk about it. And then, up here, we often see with these fast food worker stories. There's a woman that lost her life at a McDonald's. There were some other fast food restaurants, too, where the workers lost their life. Now, listen. When I was growing up, but you already know, 55, to God be the glory. One of my first or second jobs was at a McDonald's fast food restaurant. Thank God I didn't get hurt. And it wasn't as crazy as it is these days. A father, the daughter called and said, yo, it's problem at the job with this one worker. The dad comes to see about his daughter. Now the dad is dead. Very sad. Horrific. We're going to talk about it. Then we're going to talk about this ex-cop apology to the family of the person he took their life. It was a botched drug bust warrant. It had a warrant to I guess, bust in a home that was allegedly selling substances. I think they went into the wrong home. Something happened. The young man comes out, no shirt on. He ain't have no weapons. At the top of the steps, he coming down the steps, and the one cop, boop, 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 boop. Now he's gone. It was the wrong person. Not only that, he didn't have no weapons. Not only that, they didn't even say, hold up, wait a minute, what you doing? Nothing to him. He just got unalived by the cop. The cop has been fighting this situation for a couple years now. Finally, he went in and pleaded guilty. He gonna do 4 years, and he wanted to apologize to the family. I don't know how I would handle it. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna say up here and say, "Oh yeah, I would have just took that apology and I could just forgive the person just like that." That'd be all lies. There's a lot of things where you seriously can't say how you will respond until it is you. But I bless this family for being able to hear him out, accept the apology. We're going to get into it. And Tyler Perry is not on the docket tonight. But honey, they are slaying Hollywood down, one actor, one rapper, one director at a time. Tyler Perry is being accused by someone else of the same thing. You know the story, S.A. This actor said the same thing as the other actor said, as another one said too. Tyler Perry seems to have a blueprint when he's going after the men, allegedly. And his blueprint is, he tell you, don't worry, you get with me, I'll take care of you the rest of your life. He likes to film them, allegedly, rope them, allegedly, take advantage of them, allegedly, and then he give them a small little role in one of his movies. Listen, there's always going to be predators out there. There's always going to be people that will violate you out there. It is up to you to decide how bad you want something and what you will or will not do. Because this is not the beginning and the end of us hearing stories like this. Then all the Diddy people, he touched me, he violated me, he this, he ripped me off, he didn't pay me, he said he was going to pay me, he groped me, he this, he that, allegedly, right? So that was Sean Combs. Now it's Tyler Perry. Tomorrow it'll be John B. It'll be this one, it'll be that one. You just replace the name, but it's going to be the same story. So what does that tell you? That tells you that you got to make different decisions. I don't need to be in nobody movie that bad. I ain't even getting a leading role. I'm going to be a darn near extra. So you could violate me? I'll take a pass. I don't even want the leading role. So, of course, yeah, same script, different cast. You ain't never lie. But these people have got to stand up for themselves sooner, because he's another one said years and years and years of abuse. If I go over to your house once and you do something I don't like and it's all shady and all crazy, you ain't catching me at your house again. Never. But listen, people, he ain't on the docket tonight, but I just had to throw that in there. But y'all know what time it is, because I got to bring the people in the building. I need a what in the chat? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Friday Night Trending Topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title's called Serious Matters, okay? We got the Salon Kidnapping. We got the Bojangles Confrontation that turns deadly. And we got an ex-cop apologizing to the family of the person that he took their lives, their family members' lives. We're going to talk about it. Let me bring the people on in. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, Diva.
Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva. Choo-choo.
Choo-choo. I hope y'all all had a good holiday yesterday. I had a really great time. Life is good, and life has been good to me, okay? It's December the 26th. I'm still in shock that we're about to close out 2025 soon. But listen, I'm here, I'm happy, I'm healthy, family's good, life is good. So I'm going to go ahead and start out, because this is one of my longer videos, the ex-cop apology. To give you some background, I gave it to you already. So understand that this young man was not the young man that the cops was looking for. He was at the top of the steps. He didn't have a shirt on. He had no weapons, and he was shot dead. All right, let's share screen so we can get into this story. Let me just see. All right.
Tension and raw emotion fill the room as Coakley begged for forgiveness from a family his actions shattered. 29-year-old Josh Coakley walks into an office building on what he calls one of the toughest days of his life. He'll meet the family of Wendell Allen, a man he killed more than a year ago.
Hey, Josh?
Yes.
Hey, I'm Nancy Parker. Nice to meet you.
Coakley agreed to sit down and talk with Fox 8 before he settled unfinished business with Allen's family. The last act, he says, before he pleads guilty to manslaughter charges.
I've been wanting to talk to them for quite a while, and it's really important for me to come down here and speak with them. So.
On March 7th of 2012, Coakley was one of the NOPD officers who executed a search warrant at a home in the 2600 block of Prentice Street. At some point during the search, Chief Surpass says Coakley fired his gun once, killing Allen as he was coming down a flight of stairs. Allen was unarmed.
This case was caught up in kind of the perfect storm of Trayvon Martin and the SIP shooting, and most recently the Maroney shooting, and Josh did not want to add to that one bit. He's here to ask for forgiveness from the Allen family.
Wendell Allen's family waited in another room down the hall.
I'm just trying to see what he have to say. That's it. No emotions.
What do you plan to say?
I'm just going to try to speak to them as plainly and calmly as I can, like we're speaking now. And, just tell them what's on my mind and what's in my heart about this. So.
Been waiting on it. Wish it would have been a little sooner, but it's a little bit too late.
We're going to get through it, It's a tough day.
This is my client and my friend, Josh Coakley.
How you doing?
He has something to hand you also. Today may be kind of a blur, but he just wanted a lasting thing that you could have and read after the blur. But he's been waiting for this, and he just, from the bottom of his heart, wants to apologize to you personally.
Glad we finally got to sit down. I've been wanting to tell you for a very long time how sorry I am. So very sorry.
I don't know what took you so long. I prayed all this and I prayed all this and I prayed for you. I prayed for God have mercy on your soul. But what took you so long?
I am so sorry it took so long. I'm very sorry for what I put your family through. I do know that I'm glad we are finally sitting here and actually talking.
I forgave you 3 months ago after my son got killed. I prayed. All I want to know is what happened. That's all I want to know, what happened. But I've been forgave you.
You took the first child that ever graduated. Her first child graduated, went to college in our family. You took that from us. My daughter, forgive you. And somewhere down the line, I'm going to forgive you too. But you took a lot from me. You took my everything.
I forgive you. But I won't ever forget this.
How do I?
But we all have to move on as long as you take full responsibility for what you've done. And that's all we can ask of you.
Lord, in spite of what happened, I see healing, and I beg you right now to touch this family.
The meeting ended with Reverend Gerald Brown leading a prayer. Family members still in pain, bowing their heads with the former officer who caused it.
What do you want people to know about you?
I'm just like they are, you know, a human being like everyone else.
And you're hurting?
He's going to go to court tomorrow before Judge Kiva lands him and accept full responsibility and enter a plea of guilty. Okay. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Thank you.
Nancy Parker, Fox 8 News.
I feel like they got to train these officers better. It's just sad all the way around. Let me just give a little bit more to the story. Ex-cop apologizes to Wendell Allen's family. A day after he apologized to the family of Wendell Allen, former NOPD officer Joshua entered a guilty plea and began serving a 4-year sentence for manslaughter for the fatal shooting of the 20-year-old in March 2012. The officer was one of several officers involved in a March 7, 2012 drug raid on the Gently home when Allen appeared at the top of the home staircase shirtless and unarmed. Allen was killed with a single fatal shot. His apology to the family of Wendell Allen came the same day Joshua, a 4-year NOPD officer, resigned from the New Orleans Police Department because he pleaded guilty to manslaughter on August 16. He won't be eligible for parole until he has served 40 of the 48 months he is slated to serve. About a year ago, he turned down a negligent homicide deal that would have made him eligible for parole after spending 20 months in jail. Natasha Allen, the victim's mother, said in court on August 16 that the officer took away the oldest of her 11 children and the love of her life. He was my everything, she said. He was my superstar. He would always say, "Mom, you don't have to worry because I'm going to be something in life." I could sleep at night in peace because I knew I didn't have to worry about him getting in trouble. Now I don't sleep at night. I don't get no rest. All of this happened in an instant, his attorney, Claude Kelly, told the court on August 16. It was a grievous mistake that he made, but it was a split second. In that split second, he made a decision, a dreadful decision, that a lot of people will live with for the rest of their lives. The fatal cop shooting took place within a week of another fatal shooting involving another cop from New Orleans. The killing of another 20-year-old, Justin Sipp, who was reportedly on the way to work at a Burger King restaurant near City Park when the shooting occurred. Justin's older brother, 23-year-old Earl Sipp, was injured during a gunfire exchange along with several other police officers. Tempers flared in the community after New Orleans Mayor Mitch referred to the wounded cops as heroes, bringing to mind the praise heaped on the Danziger 7 when they turned themselves in for the fatal shooting of 2 unarmed Black men and the wandering of 4 others on Danziger Bridge less than a week after Hurricane Katrina. The families of Justin Sipp and Wendell Allen have both filed lawsuits against the city of New Orleans and the New Orleans Police Department earlier this year. Several of his younger siblings were in the home when Wendell Allen was killed with a single gunshot wound to the chest. Some members of the Black community have pointed to the fatal shooting of Wendell Allen and Justin Sipp, as well as an assault to 2 Black teenagers in the French Quarter on February 10th that was captured on video as evidence that very few changes have taken place within New Orleans Police Department since the resolution of several high-profile post-Katrina murder cases involving the New Orleans police officers, including Danziger Bridge case and the murder of Henry Glover, who was gunned down by a cop at a West Bank strip mall. Glover's remains were later found burnt in a car abandoned on the West Bank, but his skull was removed from the grisly murder scene and was never returned. The New Orleans Police Department is nowhere near where it needs to be in terms of protecting and serving the entire community and carrying out constitutional policing. The Reverend Raymond Brown, a community activist and president of the National Action Now, told the Louisiana Weekly. While the family obviously appreciates the apology from the officer made last week, the timing is suspect in incidents where cops actually step up and take responsibility for taking innocent civilian lives are few and far between, Brown added. Joshua made for TV apology was just that: bad acting and bad directing. W.C. Johnson, a community activist and host If Our Story Told, the Louisiana Weekly, any apology at this time has to be suspect for sincerity. The mere fact that Joshua took that same plea deal that was offered a year ago says the options he thought he had vanished. At this point, Joshua was pressured to accept anything he could get. On August 15, Joshua met members of the Wendell Allen's family for the first time and extended an apology for taking the life of the 20-year-old. All I want to know is what took you so long, Natasha Allen told Joshua as he approached her and other members of the family. She had already prayed and forgiven him for taking her son's life. I prayed for you, prayed that God would have mercy on your soul. But what took you so long? She told the former police officer. I'm so sorry that it took so long, and I'm very sorry for what I put your family through, he said. Orleans Parish District Attorney Leon called the meeting between Josh and the Wendell Allen's family rare and said he likely would have discouraged it if he had known about it. However, he said the meeting was productive and he would like to be involved in similar undertakings and future between defendants and shooting victims' families. Others recognize that much work remains to be done in reforming the city's troubled police department. Wendell Allen's death was tragic for everyone involved. I hope that today's events bring the Allen and Joshua family and the entire community some sense of closure and that justice has been served. Independent police monitor Susan Houston said on August 16, we thank the Allen family, the community, the police, the district attorney, and media for their efforts to bring this matter to light. We thank Officer Joshua and his family for accepting responsibility in this matter and enabling the Allen family to have a measure of justice. We feel gratified that we were able to play a role in monitoring the New Orleans Police Department's investigation. However, we have a great deal more work to do, she said. Now the criminal case is closed. We still have to review the rest of the involved officers, their supervisors' tactics, training, and planning. We do this important work not only to hold responsible parties accountable, but also for prevention. We need to pinpoint the systematic issues that led to unauthorized force to prevent those sorts of mistakes from being made in the future. I have realized today the importance of my office roles. The people of New Orleans asked us to be here for incidents like this one. I left the courthouse today with renewed commitment to my mandates and clarity that any political obstacles I face mean very little in the face of young lives being lost. Although the New Orleans Police Department consent decree has been approved by a federal judge, a federal monitor has been selected, and the terms of consent decree have been finalized. Johnson says the Black community must continue to remain engaged in the consent decree implementation process and watch officers as they carry out duties to ensure the constitutional policing takes hold in the New Orleans Police Department. With all of the false starts and incorrect procedures embraced by the New Orleans Police Department, with all of the inappropriate behaviors and documented complaints about the New Orleans Police Department, the legitimacy of the U.S. Department of Justice finding letter after a full investigation of the New Orleans Police Department should be enough for people of the New Orleans to become more vigilant about the New Orleans Police Department. Johnson told the Louisiana Weekly Friday. However, this does not seem to be the case. There's still an imbalance in the number of people in New Orleans who want to give the New Orleans Police Department the benefit of the doubt. So sad all the way around. Savannah, your thoughts?
Wow, Diva. This story has many layers, and I'm going to start with the family. Um, they must be really deep in their faith-based religion to reach a level of forgiveness
Mm.
for this ex-cop. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I could get there. I don't know. So blessings to them for teaching us a lesson on how to get there, but I don't think I could. Um, I think that when the public, the general public, needs to see stories like this where the cops do take accountability for their wrongdoings. However, I have questions. So this incident, this unfortunate incident where a young man lost his life, it all started because of a mistake, correct? That
Yes.
he was at the wrong house. So where is so a mistake that a cop made by being in the wrong address or trying to address the wrong people. I'm looking at it at this family, their civil rights were violated. So how come that isn't being addressed? When cops come into these, everything that I've seen, the shows and things on YouTube and other channels, when law enforcement enter a stressful situation, which sometimes, most times, they elevate, they expect the public to remain calm. The one, the whoever they're dealing with, to remain calm, ask no questions, don't resist, don't raise your voice, follow their instructions. Because if you don't, you run the risk of getting beaten, maced, tased, or even losing your life. And so, because cops make snap decisions, there's still a violation of someone's civil rights here, which is not being addressed. And while I agree with you that cops need more training, I don't know that. I mean, this has been going on for so many decades, where innocent people lose their life at the hands of a trigger happy police officer. And yet no department, I don't care if it's from LA to New York to Miami to New Orleans, no department, there's no stories on any department making improvements on how law enforcement interact with the public, and especially when they enter a stressful situations, which most times they elevate. So I'm thinking that there is so much that is not being addressed in this story, because 4 years is not enough, in my opinion, and because I don't, he's not going to do 4 years. He may do maybe 36 months at the most. And
Well,
while
they said
his
he
apology,
messed up. They said he messed up. He got to do 40 months because he didn't accept the previous plea deal where he only would have had to do 20 months before he could have came up for parole. So now he got to do 40 months.
He's got to do 40 months. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that whether it's the department or this ex-cop really has taken full accountability, learned a lesson here. And I don't think protocols or any training is going to be revised or redone. And I still think this family should be made whole. I can't even imagine, their law enforcement comes to their home, elevates the situation, makes it stressful, and their son, this young man, lost his life, and all like, oops, my bad. No, there should be some type of compensation or something here. There should be so much more that this family deserves, and I think we're missing that part of the story.
Yeah, it's heart-wrenching. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So I'm still sitting here with what justice? That was the question that was going through my mind when they said this was justice. This is not justice. This is a slap in this family's face because they are Christian. And because that mother said she forgave him. She forgave him because she didn't want that weight on her chest. She didn't want that hurt in her heart. She didn't want to have to carry that load. So her faith told her to forgive her enemy. Now the grandma said she'll forgive you in time, but she ain't forgave you yet. Here's the thing. Our law enforcement is supposed to be there to protect and serve us.
Mm-hmm.
You came to a situation and used deadly force without first confirming that there was any danger in sight. And your first thought was to take somebody else's life. He didn't try to wound him to make sure. He didn't try to talk the situation out. He didn't even use a taser. Use deadly force. You smacked him in the chest. He was already shirtless. He didn't have no pow, so you couldn't have said you saw it. So in my thing, I'm thinking, where was the danger? It's just like everybody else that wants to use this. I felt my life was in danger, and I want to use the stand your ground. We have to be careful when we allow these people that are in position of power, because he was in a position of power as a police officer, to make sure he was at the right place and to make sure he was talking to the right person. He did none of that. Instead, he took a life. And then you waited 14 years to ask for forgiveness? I don't know nobody, Faith, that's wrong. Blessings to this mama, okay? I'm with the grandmama, okay? I may forgive you in time. It won't be today. Because I'm still saying I need New Orleans to explain to me where was the justice. In 40 months, he's up for parole. So there are people that's in there for less offenses that got more time than he did. But because he's an officer, in 40 months, he is going to be eligible for parole. And he sat here, a person in power, took somebody else's life, took somebody else's child. Your decision destroyed a whole family, a whole community. You took more than what you thought you took. And all you want us to think for justice is 40 months is okay? And had he took a plea deal, he would only had to serve 20 months. Another slap in the face. So y'all saying this boy's life was not even worth that. Where is the justice?
I appreciate both of y'all. Yeah, this was a hard story. And I just truly commend the family, because like I said, I don't know if I could have did it. Unarmed young man. And like you said, you can't even play it off like you couldn't even play it off like you thought like he had something, because he was shirtless. He was shirtless. Let me roll into the next story. And the next story I will do is this Salon kidnapping. Hold on one second. Let me share screen. All right, let's do this.
A nail salon worker ends up on the wrong side of the law after a disagreement over price. Gwinnett County police arrested Nancy Nguyen. They say she illegally blocked a child from leaving her business after she got into the argument with the boy's mother. Fox 5's Christopher King is live in Lawrenceville outside the salon. Christopher, this is a story you have to break down for us. It sounds insane to do so.
Eric, it is nuts, and police say it happened right here at Modern Nail Bar. Selena Stevenson tells us that salon employee first tried to kick her out of the salon, but then she says that worker locked the door, grabbed Stevenson's 8-year-old son, and refused to let him leave. Police arrest a worker outside a nail salon after they say she illegally blocked a customer's child from walking out.
I was just confused.
It happened this past Sunday at Modern Nail Bar in Lawrenceville. Selena Stevenson tells Fox 5 she was getting a manicure.
And she was just basically saying all this other stuff was added onto the bill.
Stevenson says the woman who was doing her nails kept adding more costs.
I questioned the price.
Stevenson says that worker grew annoyed.
She told me if I didn't like the price, then I could leave. I attempt to leave, so I just get up and I just walk to the door.
Stevenson tells us she put her 1-year-old daughter into her stroller. Her son, Sahir, tried to follow. Then things grew heated.
She just pulled him in and locked the door.
And you were inside also?
We were inside, me, my 1-year-old daughter that I had in the stroller, and my son, and a bunch of other people in the shop.
According to this Gwinnett County police report, the worker, Nancy Wynn, quote, was seen grabbing the child by the shoulder and pulling him back into the business, then locking the door.
The suspect said, you're not leaving until your mother pays for her services.
I had every intention on paying you.
Stevenson eventually got out with her children and called police.
The fact that you just put your hands on my son, we're going to wait for the cops to come.
Officers arrived and handcuffed Wynn.
To hold an 8-year-old hostage in a nail salon over a payment is definitely taking things too far.
You have to learn how to treat people. You need to learn how to conduct a business.
Stevenson tells us her son is traumatized. We reached out to the salon. They are closed for the holiday. Wynn is charged with false imprisonment of a minor. We're live in Lawrenceville. Christopher King, Fox 5 News.
Yeah, that story is insane. Christopher King, thanks so much.
Hold on one second. She said the son is traumatized. All right. So Gwinnett nail salon employee arrested after child pulled inside during payment dispute. Police say an 8-year-old was pulled back inside the nail salon and locked in during a payment dispute. Nancy Newhagen, 42, was charged with false imprisonment involving a child under 14. Investigators revealed security footage before making the arrest. Police called the actions excessive. A Gwinnett County nail salon employee was arrested after police say she pulled an 8-year-old child back inside a business and locked the door during a dispute over payment for services. Nancy Newhagen, 42, was arrested Sunday and charged with false imprisonment involving a child under 14, according to Gwinnett County jail records. She was booked into jail at 4:07 p.m. and released later that night after posting a $4,050 cash bond. The incident happened on December the 21st at a nail salon on the 2900 block of Bedford Drive. Gwinnett County police said the dispute began over the cost of a service. Police identified the child as being 8 years old. There was a dispute regarding the price of a service, and the victim's mother actually ended up leaving the salon. Police spokesperson Angela Carter said, as they were walking out, the suspect in the case grabbed the 8-year-old and pulled him back inside and locked the door until the mom agreed to pay for the service. Investigator says the disagreement escalated from a pricing dispute into a payment issue. Police were contacted and responded to the scene where they revealed the security footage. Police did come, they investigated, they revealed the security footage and determined to make an arrest for false imprisonment, Captain Carter said. When asked about the seriousness of the incidents, police called the actions excessive. To hold an 8-year-old hostage in the nail salon over a payment is definitely taking things too far, Captain Carter said. Officers said disputes over payment should be handled through legal channels. This is absolutely no way to solve a dispute, Captain Carter said. You can contact the police that there is a civil dispute or an issue with that. Newhagen, who was charged under Georgia law with false imprisonment of a child younger than 14, the investigation remains closed following the arrest. It is not clear how long the child was held inside the locked shop. The Gwinnett County Police Captain Carter spoke with Fox Christopher King for this article. Additional details came from Gwinnett County jail records. Oh, she got herself into a whole bunch of trouble over a payment. Savannah, your thoughts?
So what started as a $40 manicure has now cost her over $4,000, and that's just the starting point. This is insane. I think the only thing I have for the mother is, did she attempt to pay for whatever service she received as she was trying to exit the salon, or did she just refuse to pay completely? But the moment you grab my child, we're having a whole nother discussion that this incident has now changed into a form of kidnapping. And I think there has to be better laws and regulations when it comes to these salon owners. I've seen many stories of salon owners locking doors on customers, refusing service. I have been in a salon once, though, where a customer did steal the iPad of the nail tech. And they absolutely locked the doors, and she had managed to get outside before they noticed that it was gone. So, sometimes customers can be unruly, and things escalate quickly because of customers' bad behaviors. But these salon owners are definitely off the chain sometimes, and take it to the extreme where they don't think that they can face any type of penalty. So I'm now, because this is now no longer about a dispute of $40 or whatever it costs for a manicure. I know here it's about $40 in my area. So this is now where she's probably going to have to pay the mama some money, and I support it, because you put your hands on my child and you locked him in the business. I'm outside the window at the door, and you got my baby inside. Oh no, it's a whole different conversation. So I'm glad she got locked up, and it's the mother brought it to the news and social media, because this salon owner is going to have to pay now, and I agree with it.
Yeah, it's a horrific situation. And around Christmas time, you got yourself locked up. See, if I owned a business, I would just take the hit, and that person would never come in my shop again. But see, some of these salons, they like to upcharge you as you already sitting there and go along. Oh, this nail was broken, I had to do more work. That's an extra $5. Oh, you wanted French, that's an extra $20. Like, they're telling you as you're sitting there, and to me, you need to tell people up front. It's a mess. That's why I've been going to my girl 20 years in. I don't got time for the nonsense. In my opinion, your thoughts?
So I definitely think this is the fourth or fifth video we've seen with somebody either putting hands on somebody or locking them in a salon. And this is the first one we've heard with a kid, but this is becoming a trend.
In my opinion, think about the second one. Remember that salon owner that dragged?
Oh, that's right. The two teenagers. I forgot about that one. Okay, so this is the first one with a little kid. Okay.
Yes.
But this is becoming a bigger issue. And I think there needs to be laws in place that protect these salon owners as well as the customers.
I agree.
There definitely needs to be something put in place, because these people that do the service first and have to be prepared for the other person to pay on the back end. I feel like a lot of them have gotten gypped. You know what I'm saying? They took a lot of losses, and that's the reason why they're doing this. I think this is a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think people think that they can con everybody. And so now when these people see you, all they think of is the people that have conned them before. So the lady said, I was going to pay. You know what I'm saying? But she got up and put her baby in the stroller. Why you didn't pay before you start packing your baby up? You know, you should have.
Right, facts.
So let's be honest. We have to be in the right too when we're doing this, because these people they want to live too. This is their way of living. You know, just like you clock into your job and you want your employer to pay you at the end of the week. Well, these people want you to pay for the service that they're doing. Now, if they're doing something illegal, handle it the legal way. But to come into a shop and take a service and not want to pay for it and feel like you're in the right to just get up and leave because you don't like what they say, or you don't like that they charging you a price. If you don't want it, you just say, I don't want it, pay for it and get gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then you handle it the legal way. But to some effect, when she said I put the baby in the stroller, she was already out the door, the baby was following her, and she still hadn't paid yet. To me, it looked like you was gonna walk away and not pay.
She was.
But at the same time, I don't want nobody putting nobody's hands on nobody's kid because that's not your place. What she should have done was go ahead and call the police in. Because you know that they got to strap that baby in the car and everything. I would have got the license plate. I would have took a picture of her. And I'm telling you, I would have been calling the police as I was doing all this. But there has to be something in place to protect both the customer and the salon owners. Because I feel like this must be a scam that a lot of people have cooked up to defraud these people because they get the services first. And on the back end, they're expecting you to be able to pay. And a lot of people are not. So I think this is bringing awareness that there is a flaw in this system. And we need to fix it somehow. Because people ain't going to want to pay up front for a service they haven't gotten. But at the same time, these salon owners don't want to lose their equipment, their anything that they use on you, because you're getting a service from them. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be all honest in this and see it. But yeah, I do agree she need to be locked up for this because she put her hand on the baby. The baby wasn't getting the service. The mother was.
Yeah, fact.
So if anything, you should have snatched the mama in and locked her in. But leave them children alone. I think it's a sad case, but there definitely needs to be something put in place.
Yeah, you both said it. And I do think a lot of these people, they know up front that they go on there and don't have the money to service. Like, don't go get your nails done if you don't have the money. And at some point, if you get your nails done like that, why don't you have a regular person? Like, it just don't make sense to me. But you're right. Something needs to be put in place to protect all that are involved. I'm going to go ahead and roll into this last story, which is very sad. A daughter calls a father to come help her out because she was having a problem at her job, Bojangles. Next thing you know, the dad lost his life. Let me share a screen so we can get into this story.
Family in Fulton County preparing to celebrate their first Christmas without their father after police say he was shot and killed outside of a fast food restaurant earlier this month. Channel 2's Michael Seiden is live in Palmetto tonight. And Michael, you learned this father, he was simply trying to make sure that his daughter was safe.
Yeah, the victim's 19-year-old daughter worked here. She told me that her father was simply doing what any loving dad would do, stepping in to make sure his daughter was okay when her coworker shot and killed him in the parking lot of this Bojangles.
Oh, I still haven't processed it yet. It doesn't seem real.
For the first time in her life, 19-year-old Amari Goodman is preparing for Christmas without her father. 43-year-old Dominique Goodman, who was shot and killed earlier this month in the parking lot of this Bojangles in Palmetto.
I don't even want to celebrate Christmas because it doesn't feel right.
Amari says she was working her shift at Bojangles when she says her manager, Maurice Evans, began harassing her, a situation that escalated into an argument. Amari says she called her father for help. Police say Evans was told to go home, but instead he waited in the parking lot with a gun until Amari's father arrived.
He isn't a man. Any man would have stood up to another man, had a conversation with them about their daughter.
Tonight, Amari's remembering her father as an incredible man who led by example, an ambitious dad of 5 with a baby girl on the way.
My dad was a great man, a very hardworking man.
For family friend and attorney Robert Williams Jr., this case is personal.
Mr. Goodman was my friend. He worked with me doing intakes and things like that in my law office. And that's why this case really touched my heart.
Williams says since the December 7th tragedy, he and his team have launched their own investigation into his friend's accused killer.
There's evidence that this gentleman was using drugs during his shift at work at Bojangles.
And tonight, Maurice Evans remains behind bars without bond. He's charged with murder and aggravated assault. As for this grieving family, as you can imagine, they've got a lot of bills, a lot of things going on in their lives. They've set up a GoFundMe page. If you'd like to help them out, we've posted all the details on our website, WSBTV.com. We're live in Palmetto. Michael Seiden, Channel 2 Action.
Lawson, I agree with you. What a coward. Let me share screen again, just to give some more information. Came up there to see about his daughter. Georgia father shot to death after confronting Bojangles shift manager who allegedly bullied a 17-year-old at work. A man was shot to death after trying to confront a Bojangles shift manager who was allegedly taunting his daughter at work. The shooting took place on Sunday, December 7th at a Bojangles in Palmetto, Georgia. Police identified the shift manager as Maurice Nolan Evans and charged him with murder in the shooting of Dominique Goodman. According to WAGA, Goodman's teenage daughter is an employee at the restaurant. Family member says she called the father Sunday afternoon and told him that Evans had been bullying her. Evans had been dismissed for the day, according to the family, and was in the parking lot when Goodman arrived at the restaurant. Goodman reportedly tried to confront Evans over his daughter's complaints, but the altercation escalated when Evans stepped out of his car and shot Goodman multiple times. I guess her and the manager might have gotten into it or something like that. So she called her dad, which any child would do. And the dad came up there to see about his daughter. Marlene Lately, a relative of the victim, told the news. A manager at Honda South in Morrill told Atlanta News First that Goodman worked at the dealership and was a top salesman for 3 years. I feel like she lost everything. Her father, she will never get him back. That's sad. And the man should have thought before he made that decision, Lately said. Along with the murder charge, Evan was also charged with aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. He was booked into Fulton County Jail and waived his first court appearance. Police confirmed Evans was an employee at the Bojangles where the shooting took place. Bojangles sent local news outlets a statement in response to the shooting. We are aware of the tragic incident that occurred earlier today at our franchise restaurant located in Palmetto, Georgia. Our hearts go out to the victim and all those impacted by this senseless act. The safety of our guests and team members is always our top priority. The franchise is fully cooperating with local law enforcement as they conduct their investigation. We strongly condemn all acts of violence. Out of the respect for everyone involved and the integrity of the ongoing investigation, we will defer further details to the police. Extremely sad and horrible. Just quit. I just quit. It's so many things to say about this. Savannah, your thoughts?
That was my thought exactly. That you're 19, why didn't you just quit? And this manager that you were having difficulties with or had a problem with, I question how well vetted Bojangles did to give him a position of power or leadership. We've seen quite a few stories like this, Diva, this year where young employees call their parents up to their job, and parents come in and try to, I don't know, mitigate or de-escalate or even become part of the situation or problem. I think this generation, and I, like you, started. One of my first jobs was working at McDonald's as well, and I didn't have issues with a manager, but a coworker. But I never thought of calling my mom or dad to come up to my job for me. I would just, it's time to move on, and I don't understand why this young generation. I don't know if they're Gen Zs, Xers, whatever they are. They feel the one of their recourses is to call their parents instead of, the manager has a supervisor as well. There's a district manager or someone above him that you can go to when there's issues of harassment or just unable to work with this person. and now you have a father who's no longer here. The mother was clearly pregnant, expecting another child soon. So she's going to be having to do that on her own. This is just tragic all the way around. I don't think that the restaurant has much fault here, besides if this manager had a past or previous record or something, and they didn't vet him correctly. But also, he was at the job site with a pow pow, so that concerns me as well. Um, this is just unfortunate, and this young lady is going to be scarred by that event, and her choice to call her dad up there for the rest of her life, and it's just heartbreaking. But I don't know. This generation has to find other ways to cope with with rejection or whatever it is that that they can't be able to communicate with someone in a position of power. They have to find the strength to be able to walk away from situations, quit and move on. I just don't get why it was necessary to call that, unless she was being physically harmed or essay in any way. But even then, you leave. I don't know. This is horrible for this young lady and the family. But I don't. This is just tragic. It's absolutely awful.
It is tragic. So I'm of a mixed bag, right? I mean, he was this young man was bullying her for a while, apparently, right? And she's 17. But the problem I'm having is I think Bojangles is going to be a little bit responsible, because there was something. Because remember, they sent him home. They sent him home. So for him to be sent home, he was problematic. They sent him home, and he stayed in his car in the parking lot. So to me, if it wasn't going to be her dad, it probably would have been her, because he was seeking some type of revenge, because he stayed in the parking lot. And I doubt your dad, like, even if my son called me, it's not like I'm gonna be able to get to him depending upon where he at in like 2.2 seconds. So he lingered in that parking lot for a while. But not only that, they said that he was taking as proof that he was taking substances while on the job. This is just tragic all the way around. It's very sad, but I think, unfortunately, and you hate to tell your kids to just quit, but if you had already spoken to bosses about this man and he's still doing that, then it's time we got to help you find another job. It's just so sad what happened to her dad. And I know it's probably weighing on her because she called her dad to come up and help her. In my opinion, your thoughts?
I worked in restaurants a lot, and I've been in the management program. And you'd be amazed at how many people use that position of power to coerce younger people. Seriously, I was shocked. I had to leave one job completely because they were doing outrageous things on night shift. But here's the thing, and I think Bojangles, this is where they're going to have a battle for their life. If the attorney has already found out that he was doing it on the job, that means there's videotapes. And I'm willing to bet this is not the first high schooler that this man has bullied, coerced, and tried to abuse. This man thought he was untouchable. And I fought Bojangles for that, because they gave him the power to feel that way. I don't fault this girl for calling her parents, because we tell our kids, if you're in danger or you feel threatened, to call us. So she did the right thing. This daddy didn't come up there in a heap. He didn't come up there to fight. He came up there to check on his baby. And this man was sitting in the parking lot, probably all doped up or whatever, waiting on this dad to get there. This coward, because he ain't even a man, this coward was sitting there waiting, probably plotting in his head what he was going to do. And if he's been doing this for a while, I'm pretty sure he knows exactly what that dad car looked like. So when that daddy came up there, he took it upon himself to take this man's life. How dare you come up here and try to put order over me? That's what he was thinking. He was trying to get his power back. This is what you call a coward. It's the same thing when a husband is abusing his wife. He feel like, I got to make her be in line, so I'm going to do whatever I got to do to get her in line. These are what we call cowards. They feed off of the adrenaline that they get in that moment of abusing. I think this coward deserves everything he got coming. I want that girl to absolve herself of the guilt because her dad would not want that for her. He was there for her because that was his kid. We also teach our kids that keep quitting a job, you messing up your own record on the job. People look at that.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to be so quick to tell our kids to quit something so quickly. You got to find conflict resolution.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that's what that dad was trying to do. Come up there and help her solve her conflict. So I find it offensive when I hear people say, oh, well, just quit, just quit, just quit. I keep telling my kids, no, you don't just quit when something gets tough. Because in every situation, you're going to have a situation on your job where things going to get tough. You're going to deal with somebody that's got a nasty attitude, that's going to try to push all your buttons. Your role ain't to quit. Your role is to keep fighting. You're going to get justice for yourself. You don't make somebody else make you lose your payment. But this coward deserves everything he got coming and then some.
Yeah. Just super, super sad. But we have seen too many stories where, the parents are dying, by trying to help their kids or coming to help their kids. Just super, super sad. And then I believe that was his current girlfriend sitting next to the daughter in the news clipping, and she's pregnant. So now a child is coming into this world and will never get to meet their dad because that coward took his life. Super sad. And it's still, like I said, that employee was still on the Bojangles property. So I will stay connected to this story to see what actually ends up happening. Yes, guys, I did come on early today, because like I said, a storm is coming through Jersey and I didn't know if it was going to knock out my internet or what. So I figured, let me get this live in before anything happens, with the internet or anything like that. But listen, guys, I appreciate y'all for being here. Like I said, we got 5 days out to the new year comes through. I'll be on as many days as I can, entertaining y'all and talking to y'all. But I hope y'all had a good holiday. Thank you so much. Only 2 in the live panel, but 2 of us increased matters and we did it. Okay. And I was going to do it if it was just going to be me too. But listen, guys, I appreciate y'all for coming through. Y'all know the routine. If you ain't hit that like button on the way in, do me a favor, hit it on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.